So the rest of the work on my IYV begins. Well, actually it's already begun. I replaced the nut with a bone nut that is now better cut. It's not a graphite, it's an actual bone, and it works. So I've used the strings which I've kept on here for the moment, and I'll cut them off momentarily. I wanted to check to see what this scale was, and it happens to be a Fender, because I've marked my thing Fender Gibson. Matches Fender. So go straighten the fretboard. Straighten the fretboard out. Oh, I gotta get way down here so I can see underneath. And it's looking like it's flat. Without the tension on it, it flattened right out, because I had about 11th thou relief. And it's absolutely okay. Now to be able to start doing the checks for rocker frets. I'm not going to put you through all of this turmoil of checking all these things and getting them all marked up. It's all been seen before. So we'll just go ahead and do it. Now, I'm really curious about this. And there's a wire going into the cavity which is blue, and it's going into the bridge pickup area, and I have no idea what it does. We do not need the truss rod adjustment right now. Oh yeah, and I had to make myself a cup of coffee a few minutes ago. I washed my hands. Sitting down here for 3 hours doing frets with no refreshment. All right. We are going to remove the trim ring. Pick up, pick up, pick up. Oh, isn't that interesting? Don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this. but the blue wire is going into the cavity, and it's black shielded in here as well. It's soldered to the black paint, and I'm pretty sure I had measured this in the back cavity, and this what looked like shielding paint wasn't conducting. Oh, it is conducting at a very high resistance. $3.44K for, so depending on how far away you get from it, unlike the copper, which is zero everywhere, this is like painting on a big resistor that doesn't make it the same value to everywhere. Anyway, it does conduct somewhat, but it's like a big painted on resistor. If I was going to do shielding, I think I would still prefer copper. So I'm not going to do any additional shielding, even when I split these things, because this will be good enough, I'm sure. Now, why is this rocking? Is it because it's on the cable? I'm not sure. Which is just rocking in there. It's just rocking in there. Just like that. Now there is an awful lot of cable under here. I wonder if I can get it to the side. Looks like it's going to rock. Not as bad now, I don't think, since I moved the cable to the back. Not sure what that one looks like. Well, we'll take a look. Looks like they missed the corner on this screw once, but it's hidden by the trim ring. Cavity is painted, and it's routed out for the screws to go down. Not a lot of pickup cable in this cavity at all. It's pulled quite tightly. And look at that. The knobs are metal. Extremely surprising. Looks like that will work. Holy cow. Put a really big lock washer, internal tooth lock washer. I guess it's to take up a little space and to ground it to that shielding. But it would have been grounded to the shielding anyway. And they brought the blue wire from the shielding to the pot anyway. The tone capacitor is unmarked. No value. I think I'll have a bite of something and continue to ponder my options. So I decided to go with the 2 push-pulls to split, so and an individual volume control so I could blend the pickups, keep a master tone, and I had to drill a new hole, which was thrilling not. So now it's just a tedious work of putting in a second one of these. So I'll give you a close-up of what it looks like inside. Looks like that. 2 push-pulls, switch, and the tone. I hope it works. But I also want to do something about the string tree. I do not like the butterfly. Just checking to see if the butterfly and the American fender had the same spacing, and it does. Now what I do is I cut off this pip on the back of these things, because I hate drilling more holes for this pilot, and getting it lined up is usually insane. So what I do is I cut it off and I let it float, kind of like what the butterfly does. And then I'm just going to run it on the file to flatten it off. Okay. Looks like it's going to do it. There. Exactly where I want it. We didn't screw up the back. And so we feel our way around the frets. First one is good. This one has a tiny little bit of a bib there. Alright, I'm going to say that that's reasonable. And I wanted to do something about the neck as well. The neck is actually pretty clean. But I'm going to just clean it up with some water. And I need another rag for that. I watched Dr. Groovy. He said, just clean it with water. So I'm going to try that. I'll try the plain old water first. It is taking off dirt, residue, which will end up on fingers and strings. Alright, in the meantime, so what we're going to do is move to the polishing part. I'm going to go with the Dunlop's 65 since I still have some of that. Oh my, oh hell yes. There you go. And the frets are nice. Okay. Let's see what a little bit of this does on a fret down here. See if it makes a difference. With that lemony fresh smell. Oh yes. That makes a little bit of a difference and shines it up. It's overnight into the next morning, and the board has completely dried up with all of the lemon oil that I put on it, which wasn't really much, but it gave it a nice little bit darker tone. I don't know if this can be seen very well, but there, a bit darker tone than it was, and oh my God, it's beautiful. So the next trick will be installing strings. Here we are, second to last step. Installing the new strings. These are going to be D'Addario EXL 120s. And this is how I install my strings. Position all my posts, but the angling is going out. Side to the headstock. We have a mosquito. Boop, boop, boop. Bring it through. Make sure the ball is seated. I'm going to give it a little bit of slack. Bring the wire to the inside, kink it, bring it under, pull it tight, over the top. That will lock it. As you spin it up, and make sure the wire goes under the first wind. I'm going to leave that just a little. Start doing any tuning. I'll save on some of the additional steps. And then we will want to start spinning them up. And now that that's tuned up like that, it will sit for a while. It's been a couple of hours. Let's see what she's like. I gave the neck a little tweak before I turned the camera on. That looks pretty close to good. All the treble are good. All the bass are just a tad high. Okay. Let's check to see if the saddles are sitting flat. They are nice. Let's spin it up again. Okay, let's do some tweaks. Gotta plug it in to do that. Okay. Next step, test it in the amp, see whether or not it was worth drilling that extra hole to keep a tone in and still have two volumes. So here we are, back at the other side of the green screen. So the switch is in neck bridge position, and we've got nothing. Volume, nice and analog. Go to the neck, there's nothing. Volume on the bridge does not interfere. Bridge, nothing. In the middle, now I'm able to blend the two. And alright, so we'll leave it in the middle. Neck. We're going to play with the tone. I put a 33 mic cap in there. It works. Put up the neck. Master tone. Alright, let's go neck. Full humbucker mode. Pull it. Drop. Bridge. Volume up. Pull. So that's the mod. The neck feels really good. Setup is nice. The action is really low. See if we can get a shot in. I should have done that on the other bench, but the action is right down to 4/64 on all strings, and that makes me happy. Basically feels really nice in the hand. So in essence, I invested a few hours. It took me 3 hours to fix the neck completely and polish it and level the frets that were problematic. I took out the wires of the two pots that were there. I took the pots out. I kept the volume pot that was here and made it a tone pot because it was a B500 and an A500 was in there, and I wanted it analog. not logarithmic. Drill the second hole, put those two pots in. So in all, it cost me about $175 for this guitar, maybe $180 overall with taxes here. I don't have to change the pickups. I had in stock the two push-pull pots, which cost me about $12. I had these black knobs, which I like on it, in stock, which I had paid something like $6 for. These are metal all the way through. I retained the three-way switch because it's good. So in all, if I add up this money and the price of the guitar, I buy strings by multi-sets, so they're about $7 a set. To put it all together, it's about 200 bucks, a little over 200 bucks. I don't think I'm going to need to change the tuners. They're as good as the ones on my CST-24. There's maybe the low E is a little iffy, and probably the G, but it is doing good. Really happy with it. The fit and finish was spectacular. I know you guys have probably seen some of my videos on my Firefly, which is now one of my beloved guitars. It cost me more money to make that guitar what it is today than this one. About $150 more invested in the other one, and many more hours. This IYV is the apple of my eye at the moment. I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed part 2 to make it part of my collection.